Twesiimye kubanga tuli ffenna ku Star TV ennene eggwanga amanya n'eddoboozi okumanisa empebwa okubanga tusaako puroguramu omulambuzi. Jjukira buli lunaku olw'omukaaga essaawa emu ey'akawungeezi tuba tugguse ku TV yo Star TV ne tukulambuliza ebifo eby'enjawulo wano mu ggwanga Uganda. Munnange embeera gye tulina olunaku olwayo tugenda kuba nga tutandikira mu disitulikiti y'e Hoima. Disitulikiti y'e Hoima tugenda kuba nga tukulambuza ebintu bingi nnyo ebiri mu disitulikiti y'e Hoima. Bwe tuvaawo ali tugeddeko Fort Portal obundi bujjo road awo waliwo ate hot springs ez'enjawulo ze tugenda okuba nga nazo tuzikulaga. Emabegako awo twazikulagako ne tukulaga nga bwe zifaanana ate munaye kati essaawa zino zo zifaanana zitya. Oluvannyuma ali tugende wansi mu Queen Elizabeth National Park ate nayo tubeeko be tukulaga ebitonotono bye tusobola okuba nga tukoletedde olunaku olwayo. Bino n'ebisingako awo nange omuweereza Wolfman Ssempebwa katukomewo.
It's 83 kilometers from here to Hoima town, which is our nearest town in Western Uganda. Tourism had picked up in this area. We are doing very well with many visitors coming to Kabira Wildlife Reserve until COVID set in. When COVID set in, of course it was crippled and slowed down. We have a number of tourism activities here. One of them is sport hunting. Sport hunting is one of the activities we have in this Kabira Wildlife Reserve. And when I talk of sport hunting, that's when we identify old male animals that you pay as a visitor, you kill and take the trophy. The trophy, those are the horns and the what. We don't kill mothers. We kill old male animals. Because the population of animals have increased, unlike in the past during the war times, so they are able now to take visitors around and they view the thousands of Uganda cobs, which are now around 7,000 in number. In this small area, by the way, of 87 square kilometers. The COVID-19 has increased poaching, lockdown increased poaching, but we are in charge. We are trying to make sure we do what? We protect our resources. So the visitors, when they come, they can get these resources intact. Climate change has caused the extreme floods. You can see what is happening all over the country, and it has not spared us here. It has been a very big challenge to conservation in that we are now seeing increased cases of human-wildlife conflict. So as floods come close to the community, also wildlife like hippos and crocodiles come to close to the community. And they end up conflicting with human beings. Sorry. And we have lost a number of people here because of these floods, the wildlife conflicting with human beings community. And now we are hearing political riots in Kampala. Those things are not good for tourism. They scare away visitors.
But we've come.
And I'm glad that you people, you have decided to come. I'm very happy. But the foreigners,
I'm a foreigner.
are a bit scared. From our statistics, you can see that the visitors have gone down completely because of COVID-19 and those political riots in Kampala and some other parts of the country. So we appeal to political actors. Because it is us, we know the impact of this on tourism. We appeal to political actors to resolve their differences swiftly, peacefully, so that this does not continue hurting the tourism industry and the economy of the country as a whole. That is our appeal as the people in the tourism sector. We are also seeing increasing cases of COVID-19, and also this has resulted in increasing cases of poaching. Yes. A lot of people are now home. The activities are not as usual, especially during the lockdown time, by the way. So people would take the only means of survival to be from protected area, and those are. We also have oil wells in this reserve. This is one of the reserves that has oil wells. As you know very well, oil was discovered in the Albertine Rift. In Makshon Falls, Kaboya Wildlife Reserve has oil wells. But it's important to tell you that all these oil wells have been ecologically restored. When we talk of ecologically restored, I mean that during that activity of oil exploration and drilling, there is damage to the environment. But we try our best to make sure the environment is restored closer to its original position.
I've already shown you those falls. They are called Mongiro Falls. So there is a myth that women had gone to collect water, and then they found a man who was walking in a zigzag way, had a spear, had a dog, and was putting on a backcloth, and more so his body was hairy. So the women got frightened and ran back home. They informed their husbands. So their husbands came to see the stranger, and they picked up that man and was taken to the Avamba people. So when he reached there, he was given a wife. They adopted him as a son, and immediately he got married. Then he continued with his hunting skills until one time he disappeared. So when they were looking for him, they mounted a search in the forest. So when they reached this spot, they found a spear and a dog. So when they reached, they said, "Oh, Vitente," meaning he has disappeared from here. So they believed this man turned into hot spring. So they went back home and still gave the information to the woman, and the woman got so stressful, and she did the same magic. After 3 days, she also disappeared. And when they mounted a search, where they found her backcloth is where the female hot spring is. But of course, when we come back to geography, this is a Rift Valley. We are on altitude of 400 meters to 660 meters above sea level. So these were fault lines which were created during the formation of the Rift Valley. But what is the difference between the male and the female? The female has smaller vents and they keep on shifting, while the male has a bigger vent, the way you look at it. So at the core of the earth, there are molten rocks which are boiling up, and then they are heating up stones at the mantle. So when water is passing via the mantle, it is heated up. That's why it comes out when it is hot. So if water was going at 1,500 meters or 1,200 meters above sea level, it would either reach there cool or as a warm spring.
apart from tourism, which is very obvious, you realize that we are losing so many lives on the roads because we who drive are driving in a way that is not recommended. So we are using it to educate our people about safe driving. You can reach where you're going without overspeeding. You can manage your driving style and save lives. So that is part of the issues. And then two, we are responsible for a lot of effects on the environment, so environmental change issues. We drive cars and release a lot of fumes into the environment. And that is partly because our driving is not efficient driving. You drive and push the pedal, release a lot of emissions, you burn a lot of fuels. As you burn fuels, more emissions. So we are saying, learn to drive efficiently. Don't overspeed, don't over-rev. So reduce on what you are wasting, and that wastage is in terms of fuel, but eventually which ends up into the atmosphere, and the carbon footprint is getting worse. So we are saying we can do something about that. And so this is part of the ingredients. And we are also providing a cure. We planted trees yesterday and we want people to start planting trees. As you drive on the roads, you're releasing emissions, then plant more trees so you can cure what you have released. So there are 4 pillars in this, and we believe it is a noble cause, and every one of us has that responsibility.
Nyadru Steven is my name. The name is hard to pronounce, but it's here. The tourism warden, Queen Elizabeth National Park. To begin with, Queen Elizabeth National Park is among the 10 national parks managed by Uganda Wildlife Authority, with the 12 reserves and the wildlife sanctuaries and the community. We give also guidance to the community wildlife areas in Uganda. Queen Elizabeth National Park was established as a game reserve in 1926, and then in 1952 it was upgraded to Kazinga National Park. Kazinga National Park. And then when the Queen visited this park in 1954, the name changed from Kazinga National Park to Queen Elizabeth National Park, because he had set his her foot at around Chikorongo, a place called, which we call Pavilion. That's where she settled. Queen is a very, very rich park in terms of attraction, in terms of biodiversity. Like I told you earlier, the Congo forest species and the confluence of the Congo forest species and the East African savanna species converge here, and that's why we really have a lot of species of animals and birds. We have about 95 species of mammals and 612 species of birds, different species, the forest species and the savanna species. They all converge here. And where we are in the Albertine region. The Albertine region is within the Rift Valley region. This Rift Valley started around Jordan in the Middle East. When it reached around Ethiopian Island, it is splitted. That is why it formed the Western Rift Valley and the Eastern Rift Valley, which passes through Kenya, Lake Naivasha, Lake Nakuru, Lake Naivasha, and then this one passes through here, and it goes up to Lake Malawi. So that is briefly the story about the Rift Valley. Queen Elizabeth National Park, like I said, we branded this as Medal of Wonders because it has a lot of attractions, a lot of activities, which you don't get elsewhere in any other national park. Yes, we have, when you want to expose yourself to see this wildlife, the biodiversity, the rich ecosystem, we have the game drive, the day game drive. We have gazetted some areas where you can drive through and see these animals. That's the day game drive. It starts from morning at 6:30, ends around 10. Then evening starts at 4, it ends around 6:30. Then we have the walk. The forest walk we have in Maramagambo Forest, the nature walk in Yamsingiri, where we have the Maramagambo cave with the bat cave and the rock pythons inside this cave. Very, very amazing. We have constructed a hut. You view through the glass. Excellent, excellent, excellent encounter. You see the rock pythons turning around, the birds coming, rolling around. Amazing. Then we have a unique activity which is done in underground forest. Above like this you see the plain, the savanna, but when you go inside the forest, that is the Chambura Gorge. You go inside, that's covered canopy. And this is where the chimpanzee are housing themselves. This is where they stay. And there we do the chimpanzee tracking, which is a little bit cheap. For foreigners, we charge $50, but for us Ugandans, we charge only 30,000 shillings. Then we also do special activity called experiential tourism. Experiential tourism is where we have the tracking gadgets, and if you want to see the cats, like the leopards and the lions, you go up to where they are. We allow you to drive off-road, and it's a very, very key activity which everybody wants to participate. Foreigners pay for this about $100, as we Ugandans and East Africans we pay 100,000 shillings per person to see this, and it's very, very key. It's something that if you really want to see the cats, you must participate in this. Then we have also the crater drive. We have about 72 crater lakes in Kwetu. And if we want to expose you as a tourist to see these places, we have created some drives around this area. You drive through and you see the dry lakes and also the lakes, the craters that are dry and the craters that are not dry. They have water. They have both the saline water and also the sulfur water. That's why we have Nyamunoka here, which has some different smell. When you pass around there, you sense that smell. That is sulfur deposit water. It is sulfur. But others are saline. Saline means they're a little bit salty. There is a little bit of life in it. So it exposes you to see those ones. Then the most key activity is the channel cruise, the boat cruise on the channel. The channel is a 40-kilometer stretch that drains water from Lake George to Lake Edward, the lake you see across. That is Lake Edward. So within the stretch of about 11 kilometers, we do boat cruise activities. And this 11 stretch kilometer is a breeding zone for fish. We don't allow activities in those fish in that area. So it offers you the best experience for boat cruise, because boat cruise you will see both the water animals and the land animals. Like right now, the animals are now converging along the shores to come and drink water, to relax, to water themselves. And even when the animals have insects on their body, ticks, they come and immerse themselves in this water, and they get rid of those insects. They get rid of it. Others smear themselves with the mud so that they insulate their body like the elephants. So it's an amazing experience. Queen has the key, the best experiences.
Abana
waffe omulambuzi. Kansubire nti bingi byolabye, kansubire nti bingi byoyize. Bino byonna bisangibwa wano mu ggwanga Uganda, era weekubiriza ne nkugamba nti tekaseera naawe ogende otambule olabe oyige olambule eggwanga we lifaanana. Uganda ggwanga lya Africa oba kye tuyita part of Africa. Sigenda kubanga nsukako olunaku olwaliro nsule bulungi mweraba.